clock is off from,
I know,
clock.
from my computer and my watch, but I'm going by that
No,
one.
I'm not really good at setting clocks either. Thing to set it, except for a button that's supposed to go off satellites, and it set it at noon, and it was like 10 o'clock, 10:30.
It'll be right twice a
It'll-
day.
it's in a
Yeah.
different time zone.
Yeah. It'll catch up eventually. Fun.
Calling to order the Monday, October 7th, special meeting of the 40th Council of the City of Berkeley. Ms. Mitchell, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Here.
Councilmember Black,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gavin,
Here.
Councilmember Hennan,
Here.
Councilmember Patterson,
Here.
Councilmember Vellani,
Here.
Mayor Dean.
Here. Our first order of business is the approval of tonight's agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Support?
Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Gavin with support from Councilmember Vellani. Are there any changes or additions? Seeing none, Ms. Mitchell, will you please call the roll?
Black,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Hennan,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Vellani,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes. Tonight's agenda has been approved. I'm opening public comments now. Seeing no public commenting, I'm closing public comments. Ms. Mitchell, please read the item on tonight's agenda.
1, motion number M 8524, matter of authorizing the mayor to work with staff and/or labor attorney to negotiate an offer of employment with the city council's preferred City of Berkeley city manager candidate, subject to the successful completion of a background check with final terms and conditions consistent with those set forth by city council in the position profile presented to city council for final approval.
Is there a motion to approve M 8524?
So moved. Support.
Motion made by Councilmember Patterson with support from Councilmember Black. Public comment. Okay, no public comments. Mr. Vitrino, I'm going to throw this over to you.
Thank you. First, thank you, Mayor, City Council members, and members of the public for your commitment to this process. You've worked diligently together selecting a pool of candidates for interviews. You've held interviews on October 1st. You've received feedback from your department heads and an opportunity to receive feedback from the public and other staff members. You've also had an opportunity, if you wish, to review the interviews again. They were live broadcast as well as recorded. Now it's your opportunity to select your most preferred candidate. Couple of notes or thoughts. Remember that this is a public process, and as part of the public process, I really would encourage you to focus on the positive aspects of candidates that you wish to support or candidate that you wish to support. It's important, it's a really important decision, and of course you need to explore that decision as a council in a way that you get comfortable with and are very secure in your vote in terms of who you prefer. But these are professional managers who have professional careers, so I would just remind you of that. There are several ways to proceed. These can be facilitated in many different ways. The way that I would recommend, though of course it's your meeting and you're free to deviate, is really straightforward. That possibly starting with the mayor, you just kind of go through really early in the conversation, immediately, with a preferred candidate if you're comfortable with that. You can gain a consensus or understand each other's places or positions very quickly then. At that point, you can engage in a discussion of, pros to a candidate versus pros to another candidate. It just seems to go faster that way, or more clearly that way, rather than everybody kind of giving a little bit of ambiguous thought, which I've also experienced. So if you're comfortable with that suggestion, I would suggest that the mayor start, and then you could just proceed around the table, or the mayor and the members can do something else.
You good with that? Sure. Okay. Well, first, I want to say that I was thrilled with the applicants that submitted their resumes to be part of the Berkeley community. And I want to thank everyone who applied, and especially to our 3 finalists. This decision was not an easy one. We had much to consider. But looking at the totality of things, I carefully studied what was in front of me from several perspectives. I took the input from residents, from city employees, and the community into consideration along with my own impressions while making my decision. And my preferred candidate is Crystal Van Vleck. I mean, I could add.
No, I think that's what I'm looking, I mean, from my perspective, that was fine, that's what we're looking for, and then if you want to proceed to your left, or however you wish to go.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I echo your sentiments as well. I'm especially grateful to those who applied to help lead our city forward. Every applicant had tremendous strengths, and I was very impressed by all three of those that were able to meet with us last week. I'd also like to thank James for guiding us through the process. Thought it was very professional, thoughtful, efficient, and effective. And of course to Nate for helping us all in so many ways these past few months, including bringing about this process and helping with the transition going forward. Likewise, I had input from our residents, from our staff, and our employees. Plus, again, my own impressions as well. All three of them, again, brought tremendous strengths, and we couldn't go wrong with any of them. Excuse me, my personal choice would be Crystal Van Vleck as well. And I think, again, they'd all be great, but my first choice would be Crystal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hennon.
Yeah, without belaboring it, I'll echo all the thanks and kudos, and then just get right to the chase. Crystal Van Vleck is also my choice. She's a great communicator. She's been involved in several aspects of city management, and while she doesn't have the title of city manager, she's worked side by side with a city manager her entire career, and is, I believe, ready to hit the ground running. And she's clearly a rising star, demonstrated by the size and scope and diversity of projects she's successfully executed. And with the city our size, we aren't going to attract city managers with decades of experience. And sometimes when someone is on the rise like Ms. Van Vleck, I think that's the best time to pull them in. So that is my first choice.
Thank you. Councilmember Black.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Echoing your initial comment, this was not an easy choice. I believe in certain aspects with all of these candidates, we're splitting hairs. I think they all have outstanding qualities, and all of them have very bright futures wherever they end up. Unfortunately for us, we can only make one choice. For me, I really looked at this, engaged this from two standpoints. One is leadership. You know, we need someone that can work with us, but in many ways lead us, because we have to go about the business of our day-to-day jobs, and then manage our team. And that's probably the most important thing, is they need to have that ability to lead and manage that team. So in taking, you know, the feedback that I received from department head staff, for me, it admitted narrowly margin, because the other two were outstanding as well, is Crystal Van Vleck.
Thank you. Councilmember Patterson.
Would have been easier if you would have started on this side. Echoing what you guys have said, Councilmember Black, same thing with the leadership, and Councilmember Hennon. We're not going to track somebody probably in our candidate pool who had years and years of experience with the title. I too am voting for Crystal.
Thank you. Councilmember Vellani.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's going to feel like a broken record here, but looking at a few different things, I agree with Councilmember Black. Leadership is a really important piece. Also, just knowing that we are at a kind of a pivotal turning point for the city, with where we need to take a step forward, do things a little bit differently. One of the things that I was really impressed with all of the candidates was how they talked about strategic planning and their vision. And I think the candidate that I feel most strongly about, because I did feel like any of them could be successful in this role with different types of support, I think really just has demonstrated that already, that they can look to the future and help create a path for us to get there, because that's really important for us right now. And so for that reason, I do believe that Crystal Van Vleck will be, is my top choice.
Mayor Pro Tem Gavin.
Great, thank you. Well, we'll keep the record broken then, I guess, because I too feel the same way about Ms. Van Vleck. Has a clear understanding of Berkley, our challenges, our opportunities, a lot of experience over the years with budget work. And she talked a lot about, collaboration and teamwork. And that really was something that stuck with me about her interview. Really kind of making sure that silos are broken down. And so I thought that that was a really, excuse me, a really important part of her interview. So that's where my leaning is as well.
Thank you. Thank you all. I do want to add, because I neglected to mention this, Ms. Van Vleck used the words "we" and "team" a lot. I heard those words coming from her a lot. And I think in light of what's been said around the table already, I think that that dovetails right in there. And so there you have it.
Certainly, you are free to continue discussion. However, it seems that you have a candidate that is most preferred. Your motion was already made and second in terms of your next step, which is that the candidate will engage in a discussion with your mayor, with the appointed staff members, and then an agreement hopefully will be reached relatively quickly, and that would be before you again for a vote. So at the moment, they are your preferred candidate. When that comes back to you as a potential employment agreement, they become your city manager under whatever terms come back. So know that this will come back to you again, and you will have another opportunity to vote. But I think the question is ready for you to take your vote if you wish to, based on a preferred candidate and your earlier motion.
Do I ask for a nomination of this preferred candidate to add to the, to make a friendly amendment to the
Sure,
motion?
that would be
Okay.
wonderful.
So, the original,
Accepted. I mean,
okay,
Yeah.
and Councilmember Black?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so the motion, then we're adding Crystal Van Vleck's name to this motion as our preferred candidate. Good? Okay. Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll.
Hennon,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Valani,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes. The M8524 has passed, and I'd like a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Support.
Motion made by Councilmember Patterson with support from Councilmember Baker.
Fastest
All in
meeting
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The special meeting of the Berkeley City Council is adjourned.